everyone, and welcome to the full series of What If Beerus arrived after the events of GT? How could the story of Dragon Ball Super be different with the time being placed much more in the future? In this movie-length video of my completed series of What If Beerus arrived after GT, going into the events of Super and the manga. There's a title on top where there is a playlist of all my other full series if y'all are interested in watching. Now grab a snack while watching this or have it play in the background while you are working. And let's dive into the completed story of What If Beerus arrived after GT. The story will begin after the events of the Shadow Dragon Saga, with the defeat of Omega Shenron. Some time has passed and Earth was at peace for a good while. The Z Fighters continue on living with their lives, but also picked up on their training after Goku left with Shenron. Vegeta, being one of the only really experienced fighters left, he has been training Trunks, Goten, Bra, and Majub to prepare for any future threats. Gohan was still upset about losing Piccolo, but he did take his time to recover, and he would eventually begin training from time to time, even training up his daughter Pan, as she wanted to continue protecting the planet after seeing how her grandfather did. There's also Marin, who started picking up martial arts from both her parents, since after seeing them almost die by Super Android 17, she wanted to learn how to fight and protect herself and her parents if the moments ever showed itself. Krillin did pick up on his training, even though at this point he's in his 60s, but he had Tien join him with some training sessions. Yamcha would still be out there doing his own thing rather than being a fighter. Months would pass on until one day Beerus woke up calling for Whis. Whis notified Beerus that his time to search for the Super Saiyan God has started, which made him excited and asked Whis for any information on the Saiyans. Whis stated that there are quite a few on Earth, but only one full Saiyan, with the others being hybrids, as he looks through his staff to see the events of the Shadow Dragon Saga. Seeing the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, and even Goku leaving with Shenron. Whis finds it strange on how he cannot locate Goku, but he does tell Beerus that they might have already found the Super Saiyan God with it being Goku or Vegeta, but since they cannot find Goku, they will go to Vegeta. Beerus is excited as he wants to fight an opponent that could match his power, as he demanded Whis that they would travel to Earth instantly. On Earth, Vegeta is having a casual sparring match with Trunks and Goten, as they are struggling to beat Vegeta, even with their teamwork, so they would fuse into Gotenks, powering up into Super Saiyan 3, as Vegeta powers up into his Super Saiyan 4 transformation, and they are soon about to clash until they are interrupted by Bra and Majub, saying that they have a visitor looking for a Super Saiyan God, which confuses Vegeta. Vegeta goes, but to his shock, he sees Beerus and Whis, as he bows down instantly, which also shocks his kids as they never seen him act like this. Vegeta explains that he is the god of destruction, and they would need to show him respect, as all of his other pupils will bow down as well. Beerus eyes down Majub, and even walks up to him saying that his energy is familiar but he cannot tell who it is. Whis explains that Oob is the reincarnation of the evil side of Buu, and eventually fused with Majin Buu to become one, and for being a normal earthling he is rather very powerful, having the full extent of Buu's true power. Beerus gets excited about this fighter, and Oob gets a little nervous. Vegeta asks about what Beerus is looking for. Whis explains that they are looking for the Super Saiyan God, but none of them are too sure what that is, which upsets Beerus a little. Whis talks about the form that he and Goku had when fighting Omega Shenron, which then Vegeta asks how would he know about that, and Whis explains that he is the angel to this universe, and he could see it all. Vegeta would then power up into the Super Saiyan 4 form. Beerus is somewhat impressed with this form, but he does say that he would only need around 40% of his full power to beat Vegeta. Beerus starts to get more angry as he wants to fight someone at his full power, so he doesn't have to hold back, as he threatens to destroy the planet. Hearing this, Goten and Trunks charges at Beerus without thinking. Beerus knocks them both out without much effort. Vegeta tells Majub to back him up as together they charge at Beerus. Beerus powers up to where Vegeta is barely about to hold his own against Beerus, while Majub would use some of his magical abilities to hold back Beerus, giving Vegeta time to strike Beerus with all his might. Together, then, they will shoot a ki blast directly at Beerus, hoping it would work, but as the dust clears, Beerus is still standing, but much angrier, as he quickly powers up and flies right in front of both of them, grabbing them by the neck and slamming them down, knocking them both out on the spot. Dende arrives after sensing such an immense power and seeing Beerus. He looks at Dende fiercely, thinking him as another fighter, but Whis stops him, telling him that he is the god of Earth. Beerus looks at Dende very angrily, telling them that they have an hour to find them the Super Saiyan God, or he will destroy the planet as they leave. Dende fearfully told Ra to go get her mother and the fighters and quickly meet them at the lookout. Once Dende returned to the lookout, he got in contact with King Kai, asking him for some help with contacting the other Namekians to use their Dragon Balls. They managed to do so, and Dende asked for some help from Grand Elder Mori to use their Dragon Balls, as recently they don't have them anymore since of some past events. No questions, they gathered the Dragon Balls to summon Porunga, and asked about the Super Saiyan God, and how to obtain the form, as he would ask for one last wish for all the fighters that fought Beerus to be healed up quickly. Once the fighters woke up, he told them how to become the Super Saiyan God. Vegeta and the 3 Hybrid Saiyans all quickly head over to Gohan's house, as they still need 2 more Saiyans to attempt to perform their ritual. Once they arrive, they quickly catch them all up to speed of what's been going on, and that they don't have much time left. Without a question, both Gohan and Pan both join in to attempt the ritual, as all of the Saiyans would transfer their energy onto Vegeta, as he is then lifted up and obtains the Super Saiyan God form. He doesn't really like how he attained the form, but he does like the feel of how much raw power he has gained with this form, and with unlocking the form, he even is now able to sense God Ki, as he sensed Beerus coming towards them. Everyone else is confused as why they cannot sense what he is sensing, but also not being able to sense Vegeta's power. When Beerus arrives, he is happy to see that Vegeta was able to obtain the Super Saiyan God form, and asks him to fight with him this instant. Without a time to waste, their fight begins as they clash all over the skies. With each punch that connects creates a massive pressure wave that can be felt all over the world. All the Z fighters that are spread out all around can feel the power but not locate where it is happening. They take their fight as they fly around all over the planet, continuing their fight. Beerus is excited as he never fought an opponent this strong before. He even says out loud that it is a shame that he cannot fight Goku, as he thinks he is a much more powerful opponent than Vegeta. And hearing this got Vegeta angry as he powers up further, as when he transformed, he had the look of his Super Saiyan 4 state, but with the aura of the Super Saiyan God. This boosts his power even further, and this made Beerus even more excited as he powers up further, and this immense power between the 2 fighters create a pressure wave that even the Earth is having trouble with dealing with, so they would take their fight into the atmosphere. At this point, Vegeta is only in his normal Super Saiyan 4 state, as he worried that he might not be strong enough anymore. But Beerus explains that he still has God Ki in him, and he still has the power boost for the ritual. They do continue their fight with Beerus asking about the whereabouts of Goku, but Vegeta isn't too sure where he went, but asks why he's asking about him. Beerus is just curious because Whis did tell him how he was your rival and the stronger one of the 2. Hearing this again, Vegeta shoots a powerful ki blast at Beerus, which catches Beerus off guard and hits him head on. Beerus is still standing and smiling, telling Vegeta that he is the strongest person he has ever fought, but does say that there are others out in the universe that are stronger than Vegeta. Vegeta is tired and powers down, asking who is out there in the universe. Beerus explains that a lot has happened out on other planets, and now their universe is out of balance, with multiple planets' life energy being absorbed by a magical being, a gang causing problems while on the hunt for a certain mercenary, and that same mercenary that is out making a name for himself. Vegeta is about to pass out, but Beerus says that he could stop them as he is more than strong enough to deal with them, but he is too lazy, and would rather train Vegeta and the other fighters on his planet so they could take care of these problems for him. Beerus would catch Vegeta and bring him down to Earth, where everyone else gathers around worried that Beerus would destroy the planet, but tells everyone he won't destroy the planet. Vegeta is given a sensu beam and tells Beerus he will go with him to train to grow stronger and face the stronger opponents that he was talking about. Beerus explains how there are other people causing problems out in the universe, and hearing about this, both Goten and Trunks would also join Beerus to train. Beerus looks over to Majub, saying that he should go as well as his abilities are no doubt powerful and would help him grow as a fighter. Gohan thinks about this, but he decides to stay as someone would need to stay to protect the planet, as he also trained Pan and Bra on this planet. Without another word, they depart and begin heading to Beerus' planet, but after they leave, the rest of the group arrive, being Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and his family. Gohan explains what had happened and who Beerus is, but the most important part, that even though their planet is at peace, there are still some pretty bad guys out in the universe that are causing havoc, and now without Goku, they need to be prepared to protect the planet without his help, and must begin training the next fighters. Gohan would ask Krillin to help him train the other younger fighters in case they were faced with another threat to their planet. Where we left off, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, and Majub left with Beerus to go train on his planet to continue to grow stronger, where Gohan decided to stay and train up the younger fighters with the help of Krillin and Tien. Pan and Bra saw growth in their strength and even managed to obtain the Super Saiyan form. Marin was behind of the two, with being just a normal human, but she didn't let that get to her. Krillin and Tien were good training partners for Gohan, despite their age, and slowly Gohan was able to get back into his mojo for training and growing stronger. One day during a training session with all the fighters, a mysterious space pod crashes into Earth, and they all rally up to go check it out in case if it's a threat to the planet. A mysterious person comes out of the space pod. He looks very injured as his uniform he had is all destroyed and is covered by a robe. He looks over to see all the Z fighters. As he calls for help, he gets surrounded by Gohan, Krillin, and Tien as they ask him to explain who he is. He says his name is Beerus and that he is the last remaining Galactic Patrol member left in the universe. They're all confused as they never heard anything about a Galactic Patrol. He explained that they were basically the space police, stopping any dangerous people that could cause major problems to the universe. He then explains how all things went down. Moro ended up escaping their prison, and with his magical abilities, he then would go to planets absorbing its energy to gain more and more power, and grew strong enough to deal with any Galactic Patrol member, and wiping them all out besides himself. And then he broke out all of the prisoners that were captured, and ever since that, they have been out in space causing havoc for years, and Moro has grown so powerful that their only hope now is Boo with his magical abilities that could counter Moro's magical powers. Hearing this, Gohan says that they know about the whereabouts of Boo. They would head to Bulma so that she could contact Whis, as they would need Oob to return to Earth. Once Oob arrived on Earth, he asked Gohan what was going on, as Gohan caught him up with everything and introduced him to Beerus. Beerus is confused as he says that that is not Boo, but Gohan explains how Oob is a good reincarnation of Evil Boo, and in the past, he finally fused with Majin Buu, so now Oob has the full power of Buu with all his magical abilities. Hearing this, Beerus is somewhat disappointed, as the reason he needed Buu is because he needed the Grand Supreme Kai. Since back then, a million years ago, it was him and the other Supreme Kais who ended up locking away Moro, and the Grand Supreme Kai was the one who used his godlike abilities to take away Moro's magic, and he knew that Buu absorbed all the Kais years ago. Oob said that he could maybe try to communicate with Buu to see if they could bring out the Grand Supreme Kai. Beerus cuts in saying that they don't have enough time, as the longer they wait, the stronger Moro gets. Gohan asks if he knew what Moro's plan was, and Beerus says that his plan is to find the Dragon Balls and has been hopping from planet to planet to find them to wish back for his full magical potential. Instantly, Gohan gets hopeful, saying that they know exactly what planet the Dragon Balls are at, and they could head over there and prepare for him if he would make it to Namek. With this idea, Beerus, Gohan, Oob, Pan, and Bra would all go to Namek, with the Earthlings staying on Earth, as they would need someone to protect the planet. Gohan wasn't so sure about bringing his and Vegeta's daughter, but they were not taking no for an answer. They all hop into Beerus' spaceship after being repaired by Bulma. Then they begin to head out. While on their way to Namek, Majub would be meditating the entire time, trying to get into contact with Buu in his mind, and would manage to do so. He discussed to Buu about the current situation, but Buu said that he already knew, and then Buu converted into the Grand Supreme Kai. He and Oob had a talk, where the Grand Supreme Kai explained how he ended up defeating Moro, but it did cost him his godlike powers, and really made him much weaker. With the fusion he did with Buu, it was permanent. It is all up to Oob, as he really is the only one capable of taking down Moro, but once he does, he will lose the godlike powers that he has, and only be able to have Buu's magical abilities. Oob wakes up and goes to tell the others that he was able to talk to the Grand Supreme Kai, but when he sees the others, they all see planet Namek slowly dying, as Moro already made his presence on the planet. They quickly land as they all head to where the battle is going on, as they see Moro killing most of the Namekian. Currently, his appearance is his perfected form. As he has so much time to absorb plenty of energy from planets, he gained back his youth and power. He is surprised that Beerus brought more people for him to absorb, as Moro is very confident that no one in the universe can stop him. The Saiyans try to transform into Super Saiyans, but quickly notices that they cannot do that. With Moro being much more powerful, he could also absorb energy much more quickly. Moro notices that Oob does not show any fatigue from his energy being stolen, and asks who he is. Oob gets in a fighting stance, saying that he is the protector of Earth and the person who will bring him back into prison, as he charges right at Moro, and their fight begins. Moro is confused as he cannot take any energy from this person, and Su concludes that he has magical abilities like him. This fight is heavily on Oob's side, since his magical and godlike powers are much more stronger than Moro's. For the first time in years, Moro gets scared, as this is the first fighter that is able to fight against him and not have his energy being absorbed. Moro tries to back up, making distance from Oob. At this point, he did not yet make his wish, so he is not at his full potential. Moro does notice that Oob is not using his magical abilities at its fullest, because if he did, Moro would have lost with no time, and he is right. Oob doesn't have the complete full handle of his full potential. With all the special abilities he got, he isn't even sure if he could trap Moro, as he doesn't know how to control that amount of power. The chase continues as Moro absorbs more energy from Namek, to the point where the planet begins to self-destruct. Then Moro makes a plan. They both stop, as Oob is ready to continue to fight, but Moro states that if he continues to fight him now, the planet and everyone else will die, and too will the Dragon Balls. He will tell him the location where he hid the Dragon Balls he has found, and they could use them to save the planet. Oob is distressed with the decision, as she isn't sure what to do, but then he would think about what Goku would do and allow Moro to escape so that he could save the planet and everyone else on it. Quickly, Oob goes to the Dragon Balls and head to the last village to use the Dragon Balls and asks them to make Namek not be destroyed and to bring everyone back who was killed by Moro. Porunga would grant the wish and Namek would be brought back to normal. The group would gather up and Beerus would ask what had happened, and Oob explained it all as he looked disappointed. Moro and the others told Oob he shouldn't feel disappointed as he made the right choice, saving everyone. Oob is not confident enough as he doesn't think he could tap into the same power that the Grand Supreme Kai had. Grand Elder Mori went up to the fighters and thanked them for saving their people and the planet, As he looks at Oob, telling him that he might be able to help him with his predicament, he takes him to his house as he places his hand on Oob's head. Mori struggles a bit, but manages to unlock Oob's true potential as he feels a massive power boost. Mori was impressed with how much power this kid has, as it's not a normal human. Gohan remembered getting his potential unlocked, and it did give him a major boost in power, and thought that maybe this might help Oob be able to use every ability that he has to its fullest. Oob thanks Granolah Mori, as he asks Mori if he can use the last wish. Oob would wish for Porunga to transport him to the location of Moro, as the wish is granted, to the dismay of others, as now they have to go look for Oob. Moro is shocked on how he was able to find him, as Oob wasted no time rushing in, and their fight continues. But this time Oob is using all of his magic at his full potential, and Moro can see it. The fight is very one-sided, with Moro not being able to do any damage to Oob. With his newfound power and confidence, Oob uses his abilities well, as if he had them for his whole life. Moro is in disbelief, as he thought he could never lose. He grows angry, trying anything, but at this point it does nothing. Then Oob powers up as he begins using his power to take away all of Moro's power and magic, and then begins trapping him. Moro tries to tell Oob that if he traps him again, he would lose a lot of his strong powers, and would just be a normal mortal instead of being up there with the gods. Oob, without a second thought, continues, saying that he doesn't care if he does lose his power, as he can continue growing stronger on his own. Oob finishes capturing Moro as he referred to his older look, being powerless. Oob tells Moro that he will return to prison and live out the rest of his life there. Then suddenly, a spaceship crashes on the planet, as Oob thinks it was the group, but then comes out a mysterious person that he doesn't know. He has teal hair color with an eyepiece and red eyes. Oob asks him to identify himself, but the mysterious person stays silent as he aims at Moro, looking as he was about to kill him. Oob quickly rushes at the unknown person, ready to protect Moro, but he is taken down with ease when the mercenary hits Oob on his vital points. Oob is on the floor in major pain, as the mercenary tells him to stay out of his way as he has a job to do. Moro asks to not kill him, but the mercenary, without hesitation, aims and takes out Moro, and as quickly as he arrived, he left without another word. The others finally landed on the planet by Oob to check if he was okay, as he asked him what had happened. Oob would try to get back up, and he asks Beerus if he knew about the person he saw, and he explained how he looked like. Beerus then sighed, saying that his name was Granolah. For the past few years, he has been hunting down the escapees from their prison ever since they broke out, and is upset that with one problem being dealt with, another one came up, and they're gonna have to start looking for Granolah now. On Earth, we see it under attack, with Krillin, Marin, and Tien fighting off Frieza's soldiers, as we see Frieza's spaceship. But as we get a closer look, it's not just Frieza, but also Cell. You may be wondering how we got to this point, but we will have to take a trip to the past. Years ago on planet Cereal, tensions between Granolah and the Heater Gang grew more and more throughout the years. Without the involvement of Goku and Vegeta, Elec continued hiring Granolah to keep doing jobs for him, but kept on thinking of a plan to stop Granolah. During the years, Granolah actually found the second Dragon Ball made by Moinaito. He showed it to him, and since neither of them wanted to have a wish, they kept it a secret and hid it. Few days prior to the Moro Arc, Elec sent Granolah on a dangerous mission, where he was sent to a Frieza planet as he caused some havoc and almost died there, and where he caught the attention of Frieza's remaining army as they followed him to planet Cereal. The group that followed Granolah was the same ones that revived Frieza in the canon Ressurection F movie. They would spy on Granolah and follow him to his house as they overhear a conversation where Granolah and Moinaito talk about the Dragon Balls and how they could grant any wish. Frieza's army thought of a plan as they waited till Granolah to leave the planet, and that is when they would strike. Granolah would end up leaving the planet after Elec gave him a target to take out, as he is too strong with his magical abilities, and this is when Granolah left to hunt down Moro. Then Frieza's armies burst into Moinaito's house and destroyed it until they found the Dragon Balls, and when they did, they would wish back for Frieza to be brought back to life and to teleport to them. Frieza is confused and asks what is going on, and his underlings explain how they found the Dragon Balls on this planet and brought him back to life. Frieza was pleased, but also demanded for them to go look for them again, as he has another wish in mind. While they are looking for the Dragon Balls, Frieza decided to begin training up a bit, and originally his second wish would have been to be immortal, but when he was training, he had the idea of wishing back someone, as he spent a lot of time with him in the underworld, and they both have a common enemy. It would take some time, but they would manage to find the two Dragon Balls. But Frieza's underlings are met with the Heater Gang, and a fight breaks out. Frieza's army is losing badly and asks for his help. This catches the eye of Frieza, and he goes down to the planet, meeting up with Elec, the leader of the Heaters. Elec shows no fears to Frieza as he sent out Gas to fight him, and at this point their fight is pretty matched up. As Gas grew older, he became a lot stronger, even without the wish from the dragon. A brawl breaks out between the two, and with the rest of the Heater Gang and Frieza's armies fight over the Dragon Balls. With the Heater Gangs being outmatched, Frieza's army would have the Dragon Balls and ask Frieza what they should wish for, as he told them to revive a being named Cell, and have him brought to this planet. Once brought back, Cell is as well confused, until he hears the voice of Frieza as he kicks Gas, sending him flying towards Cell, and Cell would shoot at Gas with a ki blast. Now with the joint effort, they both attack Gas and would end up taking him down easily. With Gas being killed, the rest of the Heater gang did not stand a chance and were also killed. Frieza and Cell would then continue to destroy most of the planet and decide to leave. They were discussing what they should do now and then remember about Goku, and begin to head to planet Earth. During the time it took them to get there, they began training to grow stronger. Once they arrived, it was a few days after Gohan and the others left Earth to go help out Beerus. So they sent out their army, as now we're in the present with the fighters on Earth fighting Frieza's army. The Z fighters are handling the henchmen rather easily without any real struggle, with the only thing being that Krillin and Tien are getting tired, and with how many soldiers they have to face, plus their age is catching up to them. Cell and Frieza are rather disappointed, saying that they thought Earth would have some real fighters to challenge them, and not just some of the elderly and a kid. Hearing this, Marin takes the insult and would charge right at the two enemies, ignoring the warnings of Krillin and Tien. Cell will go and fight her, but without putting any serious effort, and were able to take down Marin in a matter of seconds. Cell looks over to Krillin, asking where Goku is, with a menacing smile. Krillin grows angry, seeing his daughter hurt, but not knowing what they could do, as none of them are really strong enough to face those two opponents. He does not back down, and he would charge at Cell, with Tien following him. With their skillfulness in fighting, they last a bit, but not as much, as they are both quickly knocked out. Cell and Frieza are disappointed, thinking about it could have been a lot more fun to destroy Earth and its protectors, but either way, they prepare to destroy the Earth. As Frieza shoots a death ball directly at the planet, but the attack is suddenly gone, and the energy is dispersed, and the look on Frieza's and Cell's face turned from cocky into confused. Away, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, with Beerus and Whis are heading their way to Earth. After getting a call from Bulma, and then Beerus and Whis senses this amazing power that was so immense that even Whis was impressed. The Saiyans, on the other hand, can't sense the power, but it is so immense that they could feel it, even from the distance they are from planet Earth. Frieza instead looks over to their shocked when they see Goku, and he is no longer in his kid form. They are glad that he has finally made it, and they are here to get their revenge on him. Goku doesn't say a word, but rushes at them and lands a strong attack on both of them, which sends them flying away. They are baffled with how strong he is, but they don't show any worry yet, as they have a transformation to show Goku. They both transform into their golden form, saying that they have trained to prepare to defeat him. Goku, still not saying a word, powers up, only in this Super Saiyan form, as their fight continues. But even with these new forms, they are losing to Goku so badly that it makes him look like they have trained for nothing. Both of them are beaten badly, out of their golden form rather quickly. Goku says that he is only using a fraction of his strength, because if he had used his full power, the planet would have been destroyed. After defeating Omega Shenron and leaving with the Dragon Balls, he continued on with his training, as the gain he got from his training was something out of this universe. Even when he is gone, he is still watching over everyone and seeing everything that is happening on Earth. He could have stopped them the second they got to Earth, but he wanted to give the next fighters a chance to protect the Earth, and only came out of necessity. He knows about Beerus and how his friends are training with him to get stronger, but Goku says that he shouldn't be involving himself in these problems, but when it comes to his family and friends, he will show himself when it's time. Goku puts his hands up and without a second thought shoots a ki blast strong enough that it erases both Frieza and Cell, without any chance of them surviving. Goku then sends the arrival of Beerus and Whis with the others, and before anyone can spot him, he vanishes once again. Beerus and the others arrive on Earth, and head to the location where the battle took place, but to their surprise there was no one. Whis will use his staff to heal up the knocked fighters, and ask him what had happened. They are confused as well, as they thought the planet was doomed since none of them were strong enough to take down Frieza and Cell. Beerus is questionable, as he said him and Whis sent someone's power that was super impressive, and stronger than anyone he has ever met from here, which shocks the fighters that were on Earth. Everyone is confused as they find a huge crater where Frieza and Cell were taken down. Krillin and Tien were sure none of them made this huge crater when fighting against Frieza and Cell. Beerus asked if they thought if it may have been Goku, but none of them was sure since no one knows what happened to him after Omega Shenron. Vegeta thought to himself that if it was Goku who came to Earth, then he has to train even harder to catch up to him, but questions how did he gain so much strength when he wasn't the one training with the gods of destruction. Krillin then thinks about going to Namek to wish Porunga to see if he could shine light to where Goku has been, but also says that they might have to wait a bit since Gohan and the others left to Namek to stop someone named Moro. Beerus is happy that they are already dealing with the problems of the universe, even though it should have been him. Beerus tells the three Saiyans that their training will have to take a pause, as he and Whis will have to be heading to Namek to find the Dragon Balls, and if they don't work, then they will have to search for the Super Dragon Balls, but they are split between their universe and Universe 6. This news shocks everyone, not knowing about the other universes, but Whis explains that there are actually 12 universes, which blows everyone's mind. Beerus does say that if they run into the God of Destruction from Universe 6, they might have to fight for the Dragon Balls. So he tells Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks to continue to train, as a tournament might stir up in the near future. As they leave, Vegeta then says that he needs Gohan and the others to return back to Earth quickly, since they have some training that they will need to begin rather now. While Beerus and Whis are traveling in space, Whis asks Beerus if they would really need to challenge Champa for the other Dragon Balls. As Beerus replies, knowing Champa, he will know that they will make a bet to fight over the Dragon Balls, and Beerus looks determined, as he says that he will not allow anyone to stand in his way on his journey to find his strongest opponent. Where we last left off, Beerus and Whis were on their way to planet Namek to use their Dragon Balls, but once they arrived on the planet, they learned about the events of what went on with the Z Fighters and Moro, and how they used the Dragon Balls, and now they are not active until a year. Hearing this, no doubt Beerus would be a bit upset, but knowing that Gohan and the others dealt with one of the major problems in the universe, he lets it slide and spares the Namekians for today. Quickly, they left the planet and began their search for the Super Dragon Balls. On Earth, everyone managed to group up and discuss how they should continue on training for this upcoming tournament. But, as he cuts in, asking for some help, since he is the only Galactic Patrol member left, and he would like to see if he could have some help rebuilding the patrol, as he could not do it all on his own. Oops says immediately that he is alright with going with Beerus to be a Galactic Patrol member for a while, and that he was wanting to face Granolah once again after what he has done to Moro. After he was defeated, and then Pan would actually want to join them as well, as she already had some experience with traveling throughout space. Gohan would be unsure about letting his daughter go out on her own, but Mir says that he would make sure to protect these two with his life, and with a little begging from Pan, Gohan allows her to go. But that's all the fighters that they could spare for now, which Mir thanks everyone as they prepare to head off to space. The Saiyans all began training, and even went into the hyperbolic time chamber with Bra. Vegeta could help Gohan with learning about God Ki and having him learn the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. But what catches the eye of Gohan is seeing Goten and Trunks train Bra and try to teach her the new transformation they have learned while training on Beerus' planet. They transform into Super Saiyan Blue, gaining the blue hair and the blue aura. Gohan is pretty interested in this and asks Vegeta what the form is about. He explains that it's the form above Super Saiyan God. He continues on that both the Super Saiyan Blue form and the Super Saiyan 4 form are around the same level, as they both have its own pros and cons. Vegeta says that Super Saiyan 4 may be weaker, but is not as stamina straining compared to Super Saiyan Blue, while Super Saiyan Blue is the complete opposite. But Vegeta believes that he can combine both of the forms together, as he did it when he was facing Beerus for the first time, and combine Super Saiyan 4 with Super Saiyan God. So Gohan sticked with learning the God Ki, but obtaining the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. While sparring with Vegeta, he then talks about how Goku may have returned to Earth, and explained about the whole situation of Frieza and Cell coming back. This shocks Gohan, and wonders how strong his dad has become ever since he left. Back with Beerus and Whis, they managed to get their hands on 3 of the Super Dragon Balls, and on their way to find the 4th one, they bump into Champa and Vados. Instantly, the two began fighting over the Super Dragon Balls, as currently the 4th one is in Universe 7. But Champa states that he has the 3 in his universe. They would try to fight each other until each of their angels would stop them, saying that they are not allowed to fight. So then Beerus says to have a tournament between 5 fighters of each universe, and whoever wins gets to have the Super Dragon Balls. With this new announcement, Beerus and Whis would return back to Earth to recruit their 5-man team. They were quite surprised to see how much stronger the 5 Saiyans has gotten. Vegeta grew exponentially, Gohan has achieved the Super Saiyan 4 transformation, Trunks and Goten are getting a better handle of Super Saiyan Blue, and Bra learned how to sense God Ki and even achieve Super Saiyan 2. So with that, there is no question who would be on the team. Beerus would much rather have Oob than Bra, but he'll just have to live with that. They gather everyone up and all begin to head to the tournament. Once they arrive, the team order is formed, with it being Bra, Trunks, Goten, Gohan, and Vegeta. And for this sake, the other universe's timeline is in the same as it is in canon, so everyone is in the same age as if it was the normal super timeline. With just having Universe 7's time is altered, which makes sense since, different universes with different time. The first match would begin between Bra and Botamo. Now at first, Bra would definitely get all angry when fighting Botamo, as he does absorb all the attacks and not take any damage. But Bra is the daughter of the smartest woman on Earth, and I have no doubt she would figure out a way to throw Botamo out of the ring, similar to how Goku did in canon. Next fight would be up against Frost. Now Bra is excited facing off against a different universe version of Frieza. Now she wouldn't really know about his other transformations, so she wouldn't force him to go into his final form. With Frost trying to keep his reputation as a hero, he underestimates Bra, and holds back since she is a child. Hearing about Frieza from her universe, she doesn't trust that he's a good guy, so she would not hold back. Transforming into her Super Saiyan 2 state, she begins to fight against Frost, and her power is more than strong enough to overpower Frost in his first form. She does not give in as she plays around Frost, not giving him the chance to move. In a way, Vegeta is pretty proud of his daughter, beating up someone that resembles Frieza. Without getting the chance, Frost isn't able to go fight back or even transform into his final form to be able to use the injection, which takes out his opponents. And without that tool, he would eventually lose against Bra and be eliminated. Next came Magenta. With this win streak Bra has, she begins to get cocky and goes all out on Magenta. But Magenta is able to defend himself well against Bra, and she gets annoyed with having to face off another opponent that does not take damage and calls him unoriginal. And after hearing this insult, Magenta shows his weakness of not being able to handle insults well. And Bra sees this. Being the daughter of Bulma and Vegeta, she would say some genius and some very mean insults to Magetta and would manage a ring out on her opponent, letting her win the third match. She's getting really lucky with these wins and really dodged the bullet against Frost. The fourth match will begin as she is faced with Kaba, and she's actually interested in going against another Saiyan from another universe. She powers down into her Super Saiyan form and asks Kaba to do the same, but he tells her that he cannot transform into the Super Saiyan, which kind of bums her out, but she would actually take her time and try to teach Kaba how to transform into a Super Saiyan. And she grows a bit close to Kaba as she thinks that he is cute, but Kaba looks over to Vegeta as he gives him a death stare. Eventually, Kaba manages to learn Super Saiyan thanks to Bra, and they have a pretty even sparring match as they both begin to enjoy themselves until Kaba looks over at Vegeta once again as he loses focus and ends up getting knocked out by the ring by Bra. Bra says that it was a good fight against Kaba and she would like to visit his planet one day. Then came the final fighter from Universe 6. Champa already was upset that his entire team was wiped out by a child and demanded Hit to win this match. Bra lets all her victories go to her head, so when the fight begins, Bra charges right at Hit, ready to win the tournament. But then suddenly, without anyone noticing, Bra is sent flying out of the ring, knocked out. Everyone is shocked about what just happened, as no one saw Hit ever move. Trunks was worried as he went to go check up on Bra. Seeing how badly she is hurt, he grows a bit enraged. When the next fight starts, Trunks powers up into his Super Saiyan Blue form, but with the rage he has gone, his power has increased, and he would charge up right to Hit, but then Hit would use his time skip ability, but when Hit was moving around, he sees that Trunks is actually able to see Hit move. This took him off guard, but he would still strike Trunks hard enough as it does take him out rather quickly. Gohan would go over to get Trunks and ask if he was okay, but Trunks is really hurt, but he does tell Gohan that Hit has some time pausing abilities that allows him to attack without them being able to react. But when he was at his full power, he was able to see Hit and thinks if they are strong enough, they could break his time skip. Goten would go into the arena being ahead of himself, but wanted to take down Hit for Trunks. But without getting a heads up, he doesn't stand a chance with fighting Hit, as he is easily taken down with just a strike. Once Goten was taken down, Gohan was ready as he tries to think of an idea to win against Hit. He powers up into his Super Saiyan 4 state and tries to keep his distance from Hit. But even then, with all the distance of his attacks, they are all dodged by Hit, but Hit isn't able to get into striking distance to Gohan. Gohan then tries to strike Hit, but gets hurt by the attacks as he wasn't able to see Hit during his time skip ability. Gohan is hurt, but he still remains in the ring. He knows he is not strong enough, but then he remembers about Vegeta talking about the combination of both forms, and he thinks about it. During their time in the time chamber, Gohan did pay attention to Trunks and Goten talking about how they obtained the God form and how it felt. Gohan had the ability to sense God Ki, so he would begin powering up, trying his hardest to tap into the God form. Everyone sees what he is trying to do, but tells him to stop as they could destroy his body. But Gohan does not back down, powering up further as his aura soon starts to turn blue. His yells begin to sound like he is in pain, but it doesn't stop him, as a blue light covers Gohan's body, and soon a blue light blinds everyone, until the light dims down as they look over to see Gohan, as he did achieve what Vegeta has been working on. Gohan knows he can't stay in this form for long, so without hesitation or testing, he charges at Hit. And Hit will use his time skip ability, but when he does, Gohan doesn't slow down one bit, as he strikes Hit, and the punch is so powerful that it sends Hit flying out of the arena and knocking him out. Gohan wins the round, but once he did, he passed out, going back into his base form. Universe 7 is glad that they have won, but Vegeta was a bit upset that he did not get his chance to fight, and a bit jealous that Gohan achieved the form he was working towards too. Beerus would rub his win on Champa's face and ask for the Super Dragon Balls, but then suddenly Zeno would make his appearance, but he is not alone as Goku is with him. Everyone is shocked to see Goku once again after being gone for a good while, and how he aged back up to his adult look. They all go hug Goku. Meanwhile, Beerus and Champa are completely dumbfounded, not knowing what to say as they see a mortal being by Zeno like it's nothing. Vegeta asks Goku if he came to Earth when Frieza and Cell came back to life, and Goku just gave a big smile and chuckle. Vegeta grows a bit angry, demanding Goku to explain how he got so much stronger in such a short time span. Goku explained that after he left with Shenron, they went to a plane that worked differently than their universe, something like a time chamber where time worked differently, which explained how he aged back up. With all the time he had on his hand, he did nothing but train. With all the years he was given, he grew so much more powerful where he perfected Super Saiyan 4 and even found 2 more transformations above it, which shocked everyone. Goku explained that he learned God Ki on his own. He tried the Super Saiyan God form and the blue form as well, but it didn't compare to what his strongest form was, but it did give him a boost in power. The day he unlocked his strongest form, he was met with someone called the Grand Priest, which caught Whis off guard. With the amount of power that was emitting from Goku, it caught the attention of the Grand Priest and Zeno, as they wanted to visit Goku. And that's where he would go over to meet Zeno. With Goku's friend list, they became good friends almost instantly. He even talked about how he had a sparring match with the Grand Priest, but he didn't last too long. But hearing all of this shocked everyone. Vegeta demands to show him the strongest form that Goku has, but he denies Vegeta's request because even the Grand Priest said not to use the form since the power could be too much for the normal universe. Hearing this, Vegeta and the others have a goal to achieve as they want to continue to grow stronger, and this motivates Vegeta to train even harder to surpass Goku. Goku does help out Vegeta, saying that there is another Saiyan out there in the universe, and he is incredibly powerful, even without having any training experience. And he does say that he could have a sparring match with him, but then Beerus gets excited and cuts in, demanding Goku to fight him right now, as he wants to fight the strongest fighter he can find. Before they get into the fight, Zeno does warn Beerus and Champa that what they were doing was very bad, but very entertaining to watch, as even Goku gave him the idea of a tournament between all the universes. Goku gave the idea thinking he would be able to participate in it, but realized that it would be unfair to all the other universes, as he believed that he is too powerful at this point. Zeno would prepare to leave and ask Goku if he would be joining them, but he says that he will catch up later since he wants to spend some time with his family and friends. When Zeno leaves, Beerus will let Champa have the wish since his wish is already here, with Goku being here, but before they get into a fight, Goku has a sparring match with Vegeta. Goku smiles, telling Vegeta to go at his full power. Vegeta isn't too keen with Goku being this cocky, but he goes into his Super Saiyan 4 form as he begins attacking Goku. Goku, in his base, manages to dodge every attack Vegeta throws without any issues. Whis looks amazed, thinking that his movement resembles that of Ultra Instinct. Gohan asks what Ultra Instinct is, and Whis explains it to be a very difficult technique to learn that even Beerus hasn't even been able to master yet. Vegeta yells at Goku to stop holding back and to start attacking. Goku listens and gives him a punch right to Vegeta's stomach, which sends him flying back and even going back into his base form. Vegeta gets back up and powers up into a Super Saiyan Blue state to continue fighting, and Goku sees that Vegeta is much stronger in this form, so he powers up a little bit and again with a symbol attack manages to take him down. Vegeta is speechless with how strong Goku has become. Trunks and Goten would go down and ask to spar with Goku. Goku says to fight him together as they would need teamwork to stand any chance. They rush him down together to attack, but easily Goku dodges all of their attacks like it's nothing, and with a simple pressure wave sends them flying off, knocking them out. Beerus says it's enough as he rushes at Goku, demanding to fight him as their clash suddenly begins. They teleport all the way throughout the arena as each of their clash creates huge sonic booms. Beerus powers up, more to the point where Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan state to keep up. Beerus gets excited as he can finally use his full power, as when he fought Vegeta, he was still holding back. Whis sees how this fight could go out of hand and uses his staff to contain the battle in his staff, as it could destroy the planet if they kept on going. They don't even notice the change in the arena that they are fighting and just continue to fight, with Beerus powering up further and Goku doing the same. Outside of the staff, they all wait for a few minutes until they both leave the staff as they are tired and beaten. Whis asks who was the victor of the match, but they cut it out as it is unclear for the winner for now, but we'll have a round 2 later on. They all began to head out to Earth, as Gohan would ask Goku if they could train them. Sadly, Goku denies it as he explains that he won't be staying for long. Gohan then says what about the other threats to the planet, but Goku says that he wants to leave it for them and the next generation of fighters so that they would learn to defend the Earth when he is gone, as he will show up only if the threat is big enough that only he can deal with. Goku then realizes the absence of Oob and Pan and says that he will go visit them before leaving, as he says goodbye to everyone. Goku uses an instant transmission to teleport to the whereabouts of the trio as he meets them on a planet. Oob and Pan are happy to see Goku once again. Goku asks what they have been up to, as they explain that after joining the Galactic Patrol with Beerus, they have been traveling throughout space, catching bad guys and putting them back into prison. Oob says that they have been training under Beerus since he is so strong, but they have never managed to land a hit on him before, which is somewhat strange. That's when Goku meets Beerus. Quickly he realizes that he is an angel, and the reason Oob can't hit him is because he is a master of Ultra Instinct. They are both shocked to hear that Beerus is an angel, and Beerus doesn't deny it either. Goku explains that Beerus cannot involve himself into mortal problems, which is why he came to get y'all to stop Moro, even though he could have done it himself easily. It starts to make sense to Oob and Pan, as when they are fighting prisoners, Beerus would never attack any directly. Beerus then explains that he has been training them up to grow stronger, to handle more dangerous opponents. He has been trying to teach Oob the Ultra Instinct technique since Oob is a very powerful being with the power of Buu and the wisdom and power of the Grand Supreme Kai. Goku is very interested and asks Oob if he wants to spar for old time's sake, and Oob wouldn't back down. They both get into a fighting stance and begin their match. Even though Oob has grown much stronger, Goku still had to hold back. Their fight resembled the one they had when they first met at the World Tournament. In the background, Beerus tries to tell Oob how to feel when he's trying to tap into Ultra Instinct. Goku begins trying to hit back with Oob blocking them, but he still fails to attack. Goku then begins to explain how he should be moving without thinking. He shouts that it is his time to defend their planet and the universe, as he would not be here anymore to help. All the pressure starts getting to Oob, until for a brief moment, his eyes glow and an aura bursts out of him. He dodges Goku's attack and strikes him in the back, which sends Goku pushed away by a few feet. Then Oob passes out and he is on the ground. Goku is very proud of his pupil for how strong he has gotten, especially when he started training under an angel. He does state that currently he is close to being the strongest, only under Gohan when he uses that new form he just attained during the past tournament. He thanks Beerus for training them and looking out for them. He says goodbye to Pan as he does have to leave, and says to keep on training so she could grow strong and protect the universe from any future threat, as Goku teleports away. When leaving, he thinks to himself, thinking that their universe and planet is in safe hands, and with the future fighters training up, as he begins to think that maybe they won't need him anymore. Some time has passed. Away in another timeline, Trunks is running for his life with Mai as major destruction is all around them. Then they see the figure that is causing all the havoc on their planet, as Trunks rushes at him, but is immediately sent crashing down to the floor as the smoke clears to reveal Goku Black. But this isn't the normal Goku that the body was stolen from, but the body of Goku after he left for Shenron. Trunks thinks it is over for him and Mai, as he is way too powerful to be stopped, as Goku Black puts out his hand ready to end Trunks, but then is suddenly taken over as they hear Goku's voice saying to hurry and leave, as he cannot hold control over his body for much longer. With this chance, Trunks and Mai hurries as they top into the time machine, and when they are leaving, they see their planet beginning to be destroyed, right before they left to the present timeline. When Trunks and Mai woke up, they are met with Bulma, Vegeta, and himself. And that's where we're going to leave it off for now, guys. Tell me how y'all think about the 5th part and how I did with the Goku Return Arc. What will the Z Fighters do against a much more powerful Goku Black? Will any of them be strong enough to stop him? How would Future Trunks feel about being this much from the future where everyone has grown up and meeting himself? What could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If you are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya. Where we last left off, Future Trunks woke up to see himself. He jumps back, thinking it's a trick, but once seeing Bulma, he calms down. He gets happy seeing his parents, but the tension is a bit awkward with the fact that Future Trunks is seeing himself. He asks how long has it been, as Vegeta says it's been around 17 years since they defeated Cell. Vegeta asks what was his reason for returning to this timeline, and Future Trunks explained about Goku Black, and hearing this shocks Vegeta and Bulma. Future Trunks explained how strong he was, even in his Super Saiyan 2 form. He could not hold his own against Goku Black, as he was only using his base form. Vegeta looks a bit disturbed, thinking that if this was the Goku they know now, it could be really bad. Future Trunks asks if Goku is around to help, but Vegeta explains all of what happened after he left, and how Goku isn't exactly around all the time, but they could reach out to the others for backup. Suddenly, the sky would erupt, with Goku Black coming out, and Vegeta's suspicions were correct. He powers up into a Super Saiyan Blue form, and begins fighting it out with Goku Black. Now, how did Zamasu get Goku's body? Let's have a flashback. Once Goku got close with Zeno and the Grand Priest, he would explore the other universes, meeting their Kais, and when he visited Gowasu, Zamasu was there, and when he saw Goku, he grew a hatred so big towards him, as he didn't even think a mortal should be on the level of the gods, or even above them. He would proceed with wishing to swap bodies with Goku, and it would work somewhat. He did manage to gain control of his body, but with Goku being in a whole different league than his normal self, Zamasu didn't completely get control of Goku's body. Physically, he was able to, but spiritually, Goku was still there. Once he attained his body, he would have no problem stopping anyone, killing that version of Goku's family and the planet. With this Goku being stronger, Goku Black would too be stronger, but luckily not as strong as normal Goku. Once they began sparring, Vegeta realized that he was barely holding his own against Goku Black. He then thinks of the time when Ginyu took Goku's body, and not being as strong as Goku, and how this is a similar situation. The fight is pretty close, at first, but Vegeta begins to get beaten badly, and the others worry as he isn't strong enough to fight back. But then, when he was fighting, Goku Black suddenly stopped, as Vegeta hears Goku's voice, saying that he is trying to gain control over his body back, but to attack while Black isn't in control. When Goku Black realizes he wasn't going to win so easily, he would retreat back to the future. Future Trunks was amazed that his father was strong enough to fight back against Goku Black, and win. But once Goku Black left, Vegeta powered down as he was exhausted, and Trunks would catch him. The others would arrive and would get a rundown on what just happened, and hearing that their father turned bad, Gohan and Goten was feeling off. Our timeline Trunks turned over to his future self, calling him a weakling. He refused to believe that he was a future version of himself, as he wouldn't have let anyone down. Bulma tried to defend future Trunks, but Trunks wasn't having any of it, transforming into Super Saiyan Blue and challenging himself. Gohan stopped Trunks, telling him to calm down as he tried to explain what future Trunks went through, but Trunks just flew away, needing to clear his head. They all tried apologizing how Trunks acted, but future Trunks was okay, and even agreed to what his version had to say to him, and that he was not strong enough to stop this new threat that caused his entire planet, as now he has nowhere to go. Future Trunks would then leave to go talk to his other self, as he finds him sitting around a cliff, as he asked if they could talk. Trunks was hesitant, but he allowed his future self to speak. Future Trunks went to talk about how his entire timeline went down, with the passing of Goku, all the other Z fighters, his master Gohan, and even after stopping the androids, he had other people to face like Babidi and Dabura, and how he couldn't save his mother or the planet from this evil Goku. Trunks begins to feel bad for his future self with all that he had to go through, and the reason his life is good now is because his future self came back to try to fix it all. He apologizes and wants to try to help him. He asks if he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber before, and Future Trunks said he did when he came back the first time with their father. Trunks said that he would teach Future Trunks the Super Saiyan Blue form, and together they could try to take down Goku Black, and together they would head towards the lookout to hop into the time chamber. Meanwhile, the rest of the group is still in Capsule Corps, and they've discussed what the plan will be to face Goku Black if he does return. Gohan says that he would be the strongest around if he could tap back into the form he used when facing hits. Vegeta explained how it might not be enough because the only reason he was able to hold his own against the fight with Black is because Goku is still in his own body, mentally, but is struggling to break free. Bulma would call Whis for their help by offering them some food, which would work as they would explain to them what is happening, and when Beerus hears about time traveling, he does get upset with someone messing with time, but he would not be present for now. Beerus does say that he cannot meddle with this themselves, but Whis offers to Gohan, Goten, and Vegeta to train a little, maybe helping Vegeta obtain the form that Gohan has. Close to a day would pass and another rift would open up in the sky, and Goku Black has returned, with a smug look on his face. Gohan powers up into a Super Saiyan 4 blue form, and goes to face off against him. At first it seems like Gohan is stronger, but once again, Gohan lands a punch on Black, and he smiles, and just sends Gohan flying after one attack. This shocks Vegeta, as Gohan should be the most powerful one here. He goes into his Super Saiyan Blue form, and together they try to face off Goku Black. But still, in his base form, he's beating both of them with ease. He strikes Vegeta, taking him out of his God form and knocking him out. He smashes Gohan into the ground as he prepares to finish him off. But then he suddenly stops, as once again, Goku is trying to fight control over his body, and he does not want his own body to murder his son once again. This struggle gave enough time for Future Trunks to kick Goku Black, sending him flying, but also saving Gohan. Gohan looks up to see both Trunks, and the power he senses from them is immense, that even he is shocked with what he is feeling. Their new power impresses Beerus and Whis, and wonders how much they have grown. Goku Black gets up, confused about what just happened. He felt the pain after that attack, and he thought it was impossible, as only a day has passed since he almost took out Future Trunks. Once he looked over to see both Trunks, and together, their power is much more powerful than when he was facing Gohan and Vegeta. They explain that they have trained in the hyperbolic time chamber for a year, with Trunks teaching Future Trunks the Super Saiyan Blue form, and once he did learn the transformation, their training became a lot more efficient, helping each other grow more and more. Trunks thought it was not enough for this new threat, especially with his experience of fighting Goku. Future Trunks talked about the different grades of Super Saiyans, and when he first went into time chamber with Vegeta, and maybe Super Saiyan Blue was the same. This gave Trunks the idea, and he would push himself further when training to the point where he tapped into something beyond Super Saiyan Blue. His body bulks up, and the aura around him grew much more darker. Future Trunks was impressed with his power, and he would work on attempting to achieve the same power. It would take some time, and he would struggle with obtaining the Super Saiyan Blue evolution form. He feels powerless and upset that he has failed to protect his world, and this anger taps into something for him. His aura changes, with it being blue and yellow, and he lost his pupils, growing into a rage, and the power to Trunks felt amazing, but Future Trunks would pass out from the form. Trunks would tell his future self about what he tapped into, and with this, they continue on their training, and finally once they left the time chamber, they left in their Super Saiyan Blue state, as they managed to perfect the transformation, like how Goku and Gohan did with Super Saiyan during the Cell games. We cut to where we are now. Vegeta is proud that his sons grew more powerful than him, and how they perfected the Super Saiyan Blue state. This angers Black as he smiles, saying that he too managed to find a new power, as he begins powering up a rose aura around his body, and his hair spikes up, turning into a rose color. The power that is coming out of Goku Black, it begins to make the planet shake. Some of the weaker fighters pass out due to the massive pressure. Gohan asks for Beerus to step in, but Beerus denies as he won't jump in unless it is necessary. Both Trunks will power up into their forms as their clash will begin. The power between the three is immense. Goku Black is much more powerful than the other two, but they use the advantage they have in numbers to have Goku Black struggle a little bit, but still is not doing much. Whis does state that they should transfer the fight someplace else as it could destroy the planet, and Beerus would allow it. Whis taps his staff and teleported the three to an empty planet, which Vegeta did not like as he didn't think his sons could stop Black. The fight begins to go badly with Black sending them flying all around the planet, not giving them the chance to attack. They are struggling to survive as he slams them both into the floor. He flies up charging an attack, ready to finish them off, but then his hand tightens as he looks over to his shoulder to see Goku, and he is not happy. Already Goku in his Super Saiyan 3 form, and his face shows true anger. Knowing what Black did with his body, Black shows some real fear as he looked face to face with Goku as he was taken by Goku and they were teleported to some unknown place. Their clash instantly begins with Black striking Goku and he is sent flying. Goku is caught off guard as he isn't used to someone he can fight at full power, but he smiles, powering up into a new form as he calls it Super Saiyan 5. Where we last left off, we have just witnessed Goku transform into his strongest form, Super Saiyan 5. The power that Goku Black felt from Goku was immense. He didn't know what to say, so he asked where he brought them to. Goku explained that they're in a place out of the universe, and the only place he could use his full power without putting anyone at risk. Goku Black would try to attack Goku, but his strikes did not faze Goku whatsoever. He would flick Black and this would send him flying, as then he would catch him saying he had his body stolen before, but the person who stole his body couldn't use the same amount of power that he could, and he sees that it is the same for Goku Black. Goku Black makes distance between the two, as he grows angry, having his own speech about the gods and the mortals, and how mortals should not share any place with the gods, and will go on about his Zero Mortal plan. Goku Black tries to attack Goku, but it is no use as he cannot hit Goku. Goku prepares to end the fight rather quickly, until Goku Black loses control again, and Goku would see that he does not have full control of his body, and sees that another version of himself is trying to break free. Goku Black gains control, going back to fight Goku, but this time, Goku holds back, not wanting to hurt himself, so he dodges most of Goku Black's attack, and tries to talk to Goku Black out and to let his body go, but Goku Black refuses. With Goku holding back against Black, and with his anger, it pushes Goku Black, thinking to himself that since he stole Goku's body, that he too could obtain the transformation that he has. His body bulks up, hair begins to grow as more rose-colored hair grows all over his body. Goku looks away as when he sees Goku Black again, his eyes widen in shock to see Black in what it looks like to be Super Saiyan 5, but with a rose color rather than his silver hair. And Goku Black laughs maniacally. With this new power, it now gets cocky, thinking he has far surpassed Goku, as their fight continues, and this time, their fight completely switched, with Goku Black pushing Goku back this time. Goku is shocked that he is able to use his own power, even without all the training that he has done. The fight is intense, with each clash between the two creating huge pressure waves, even though they're in a voidless space. Away, both Zeno and Grand Priest could feel the battle, as they're the only ones powerful enough to sense the battle that is going on. And obviously, Zeno finds this very entertaining, and is very pleased with how strong Goku is, and likes him seeing him at his full power. The Grand Priest then thinks that Goku will need to push himself further to be able to win against his opponent, but he does say that he senses more of Goku in the enemy's body than the person who has control over his body. We pan back to the fight, as Goku is having to fight back more and more, but he feels that the more he damages Goku Black, the stronger he gets. He then thinks about the training he has been up to with the Grand Priest. He spent some months with the Grand Priest trying to learn a technique called Ultra Instinct, with the Grand Priest being the best teacher for Goku to learn Ultra Instinct, but he did have his struggles with the technique as he never tapped into the power on command, but rather when he was pushed to the edge. Goku tries to focus on how he felt trying to tap into Ultra Instinct. Meanwhile, Goku Black laughs maniacally as he kept trying to beat on Goku, thinking he has won and that no one could stop him until one of his punches get caught. As he looks as stunned as Goku's aura changes, his power explodes as an instant gets behind Goku Black, and suddenly Goku Black is in major pain as he was punched so rapidly he didn't even notice. He powers up further, telling Goku that he will lose as he charges right at him, throwing a bunch of punches right at Goku. But Goku dodges all of them with ease. Goku Black is confused and doesn't get what is happening. He's confused on what the power that Goku is using. Goku explained about the training he has done with the Grand Priest, but Goku Black cuts him off, getting angry, saying mortals shouldn't be with gods. He begins to lose control as he starts attacking again, but much more uncontrolled with shooting ki blasts everywhere. Goku dodges all the attacks and would cut off Goku Black's tail, making him lose his transformation. Going back to base, but Black isn't giving up, trying to attack Goku, but to no avail. One strong strike, to black and he is out on the ground, holding his stomach in pain. Then suddenly, Goku Black's aura turns blue as a huge figure appears behind him. Similar to what Goku did when he faced Moro with Ultra Instinct, Goku was shocked, not expecting this, but it was himself. Although a different version of himself. He explained to himself that he could gain control of his body once again, but needs some help to remove the soul of Zamasu. Goku understood and did what he could, as together they would work out to get Goku's body back, so he would revert back to normal. It would be a bit awkward as they are both technically the same Goku, but once they got past that, they would head out to fix all the destruction that Zamasu caused. First with going back to Beerus and Whis, and the others are shocked to see two Gokus now, as the Goku who was black explained to Beerus about the person who caused it all. Hearing about Zamasu, both Beerus and Whis would do some investigation on Zamasu, and when they would see him trying to attempt to assassinate Kawasu, they would step in, and Beerus would end up erasing Zamasu. Then with Goku and the other Goku, they would meet with Zeno and the Grand Priest to explain everything. The Grand Priest was surprised at first, but explained how he and Zeno felt the entire fight, as Zeno was super excited and was entertained by the fight between the two Gokus, as he will announce a tournament between all the universes soon. He also asked which Goku was stronger, as they both laughed, thinking that the fight would probably be a draw since they are technically the same person. But this does make them question themselves to see who is the stronger version. But they cut ahead and asked the Grand Priest if the Super Dragon Balls has enough power to fix another timeline. And the Grand Priest said it could, and asked if they would gather them to fix this version of Goku's timeline, and they would confirm his question. The Grand Priest would allow this, even though he would have liked to have both Gokus here, but he understands. Then, both Gokus would need to collect the Super Dragon Balls in order to fix the timeline, which they would do, and they would wish for that Goku's timeline to be fixed before anything that Zamasu would have caused. Now before, I know there's going to be some questions on, why don't they fix Future Trunks' timeline, but this version of Goku, he's more, friendly with Grand Priest and Zeno, and they would most likely be able to let him use the Super Dragon Balls, compared to Future Trunks where he kind of broke a rule of time traveling, and he's not in that level of friendliness with the Grand Priest and Zeno. So before y'all question, Future Trunks' timeline would not be able to be restored. But back to the story. Before that, Goku would leave. He would actually spar with himself, as they would both stay in their base form and just strictly stick with martial arts. The fight was weird, as they both knew each other so well that they both fought in ways they don't normally do. And since they both thought the same way, their fight was really interesting, and Goku's most fun fight they have ever experienced. But it would turn out as a draw, as even Goku can't beat himself, as that Goku would return back to his time. Afterwards, Zeno would actually call Goku, and when he would meet with Zeno, he would tell him about the announcement of the Tournament of Power will be happening soon, and the rules of the tournament, and that he would not be able to participate since he would be leagues above everyone else, which Goku is bummed about, but is alright with it until he hears about the penalty for losing in the tournament. And Zeno tells Goku that if his universe loses the tournament, he will not be erased with them. And when he hears that the universe is erased if they lose, he gets worried. He thanks Zeno and would quickly leave, going back to Earth quickly, while also picking up Pan and Oob from Beerus. He quickly gathers everyone to the lookout, being Vegeta, Gohan, Oob, Pan, Bra, Goten, both Trunks, and the Earthling fighters. He tells them all about the tournament and the rules. Hearing about being erased if they lose scares them, as they now know the stakes of losing that are definitely high. At first, Krillin says that they can't lose with Goku on their side, but Goku tells them that he cannot participate, to the shock of them all. Vegeta jumps in, saying that they are at a disadvantage since most of their team consists of kids with little to no experience, as he only counts himself, Gohan, and Future Trunks being the top 3 of the team. The humans take offense to Vegeta's words, but they do agree with him, as Krillin and Tien both agree that they would both be holding the team back, especially with their age catching up to them. But they do state that Marin is stronger than both of them, and maybe with some more training, she could be a lot more helpful. Goku does say that he has 2 fighters that could be a big help, but realized the team would have 11 members, and wouldn't want to kick anyone out. He does ask Vegeta if maybe Pan and Bra could use the Potara earrings to fuse together to be one fighter, as they would be much more powerful like that. Vegeta asks why the Potara earrings, but Goku states that the tournament is timed. If they use too much power before winning, they could be disqualified if they use the fusion dance, and with the Potara fusions, it would last longer than the tournament. Pan and Bra are kinda questionable, since they want to see what they themselves are capable of, but with the world at stake, they will put it aside. With the extra slot available, they would ask who would be the other 2 fighters. First, Goku tells Vegeta about the other full Saiyan he knows about in this universe, as he senses big potential in him being a good helper. The other suggestion shocks them, especially Oob, as he says the other person would be Granolah. Oob is against it, saying that he is a hitman in this universe, as Goku gets it, but he did spend some time observing him, and knows he isn't fully a bad person, just misguided, and should be given a chance. He continues with that they need the best chance of winning on their own, as he will have no strings to pull if they lose. Oob would suck it up for now and agree with Goku, as they do need to win so their universe isn't erased. Goku would quickly teleport throughout the universe to pick up the 2 fighters, and once they return back to Earth, both Broly and Granolah are confused, with seeing Goku, saying he has a huge favor to ask. The two fighters are confused on why they are here, but they allow Goku to explain. After hearing that their lives are at stake, if they don't win this tournament, they get concerned, with Broly struggling to understand. Granolah looks over to see Oob, eyeing him down as he still remembers him from when he took out Moro. Goku began training the Z fighters, helping them grow in any way possible that would help them be able to win in the Tournament of Power. He had the Saiyans train together with Vegeta and Gohan training together to try to get more use of the Super Saiyan 4 Blue transformation, while Trunks, Goten, and Future Trunks all train together to grow stronger and help Goten trying to perfect the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, while also training up Bra and Pan so that when they use the Potara fusion, their fusion will be a lot more stronger. Goku would help out the Saiyans every now and then, but would focus more on the 4 other members. With Marin, he would focus with trying to get her to be as strong as she can, as fast as possible. He knows Kaioken would not be helpful, but then remembers of the Elder Kai doing a ritual to Gohan giving him his mystic form, so he would teleport her towards the Elder Kai, and ask him to perform the ritual that he did with Gohan. Meanwhile, Goku would train Oob to try to obtain Ultra Instinct. Oob was shocked to hear that he did activate Ultra Instinct once for a second when he fought Goku, so he had a little confidence that he could tap into the power once again. And with the help of Goku and his knowledge and experience with the technique, Oob believed that he could tap into the power again. He did also tell Oob that he would need to be able to tap into the power in case Granolah would try to backstab him, as he is a very powerful opponent, and the technique and abilities he does have makes him a strong fighter. Goku would spar with Granolah to give him some of his own training, and to learn Granolah's ability. Their matches would be one-sided with Goku being a lot stronger, but Granolah's fighting style would sting for Goku. Now with Broly, he was a wild card. Broly was really quiet, and Vegeta didn't see the potential that Goku saw in Broly, but Goku did see Broly's true power. In this timeline, since a lot more time has passed, Broly's father, Paragus, died of old age, and when he passed, Broly lost control and went berserk. Transforming into his legendary Super Saiyan form, and that spike in power is what alerted Goku and witnessed Broly's power on the planet he was at. Goku was impressed, but saw how he was not in control, and if he didn't stop Broly, he would have blown up his own planet, as he knocked out Broly to calm him down. He kept an eye on him and eventually introduced himself to Broly, so that he wouldn't be alone for so long. He did struggle to befriend Broly as he was very quiet, so to train him, he would bring both of them to his home planet and they would spar together a lot, especially getting him to lose control going into his berserk form, as their fight would be more hectic. But it would be Broly who would be struggling against Goku, as he isn't as strong as him. But what Goku soon sees is that the longer Broly fights, the stronger he gets, and learning this about Broly, he tries to focus him more as he may be their biggest weapon for the team. He really cracked down on Broly, trying to make him gain control of Super Saiyan so that he doesn't lose control when it comes to the actual tournament. Since they only had a few days, Goku would take Oob and Broly to the time chamber to give them more time to hone their abilities. They would spend a year there and they would grow significantly, with Broly actually managing to gain control of Super Saiyan and grew to be friends with Goku and Oob. Oob grew a lot in strength, but still struggled with learning the technique as he was only able to use it when he was pushed to his limits, rather than on command. The time came where they all began to head to the tournament, kinda worried as some of them were unsure if they could win. Once they got to the arena, the tournament soon began. Vegeta, Broly, and Granolah would head out on their own, fighting anyone they found, while Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Future Trunks stuck together as Oob, Bra-Pan, and Marin would stick together as another group. Goku was watching with Zeno and the Grand Priest if he was worried that his friends wouldn't win the tournament, but Goku said he had faith that they would win. The tournament is going quite differently, as not only this overall team is a lot stronger, but most of the members are stronger alone comparable to the canon team. Bra-Pan would see Kaba and would head towards him as Kaba somewhat recognizes her as she looks like Bra. Bra developed a little crush on Kaba, which Pan thought was nasty, until Kaba introduced her to Khalifa and Kale. And quickly, Bra's side of the fusion grew jealous. They began sparring, and none of them could match with the fusion of Bra-Pan, even with both Kaba and Khalifa in Super Saiyan, until Kale grew out into a berserk state, which got Goku worried, thinking that it was similar to Broly's berserk state. Bra-Pan dodges all the attacks, but does know that they have to power up as they charge up their ki, and a sudden blast of red aura forms around them. That's right, they went into their Super Saiyan God form. The fight turned around completely as Kale was struggling against this fusion, knocking her down into base form. Champa, not liking how his Saiyans are losing, would give them the Potara earrings, and Kefla would be made. This worries Bra-Pan, thinking that they could be challenged, but remembering Bra's jealousy, she rushes at the Saiyan fusion, quickly going all out, not giving Kefla room to breathe, until she would end up knocking them out rather quickly. Kaba is surprised at how strong she's gotten, while Broadside shows her jealousy towards his friends, while Pan makes fun of her. Kaba asks if they win this, if they could revive his universe, and Broadpan promises to make sure that they will. Oob and Marin would actually hold off pretty well, taking on an entire universe on their own. But Oob senses someone very powerful, as he looks over to see Jiren, but he isn't meditating. He is currently facing off against Broly and Vegeta. With the Hybrid Saiyans, they are facing against the Pride Troopers, and most of them are simple to deal with, but against Toppo and Dispo, they are a lot more of a challenge. With Gohan and Goten fighting against Toppo, and both Trunks fighting Dispo, with Granolah he goes face to face with Hit. They actually complement each other's fighting style, as they both seem to have pretty close fighting styles. His time skip would work against Granolah, and would hurt, but also during the time skip, Granolah is able to strike Hit at his weaker points, so currently they're at a standstill. Neither of them are able to gain the advantage over the other. With Jiren fighting against Broly and Vegeta, they're managing to hold off, but alone, Jiren is managing against the two pretty easily. Jiren found these two as a threat, and he decided to fight much more earlier in the tournament. He doesn't underestimate them and decides not to hold back his true power. Broly does slowly get stronger the more he fights, still at this form, but the rate isn't as fast as it was if he was in his berserk state. Zeno is most excited about that fight going on, as they are the strongest fighters in the entire tournament, and they are fighting each other, causing the most amount of damage at the arena. Goku is slightly worried as he can sense how strong Jiren is, and he is unsure that if even Broly went berserk, he would have a tough time fighting off Jiren. With Oob and Marin, they eventually get overrun, with Oob barely being able to escape, but Marin being the first person to be knocked out, but then Oob runs into Frost, and he gets stabbed with the injections, which bring Oob to collapse, to the floor, as Frost leaves him there. Goku sees this and is shocked to how Oob got damaged so easily, as Oob is left there on the floor of the battlefield. Granolah and Hit continue on with their battle, as they were both heavily damaged, but quite enjoying their battle and even giving tips to each other after learning that they were both assassins in their respective universe. They both power up further, with trying for this next attack to be the deciding factor of who is the victor, as they rush at each other, each striking the other with all their strength, as then they would both collapse into the ground and knocked out. As battle rages on, with more and more destruction of the arena, more fighters get knocked out, like Goten and Trunks, leaving Gohan and Future Trunks to fight their battle against Toppo in his destruction form, and Future Trunks fighting Dispo. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Broly still try their best to fend off Jiren. No matter what they are throwing at him, he keeps fighting. Vegeta begins to feel fatigued. After being in his transformation for so long, he looks over to see that currently it is only himself, Broly, Gohan, Future Trunks, and Oob, who is still knocked out, against Dispo, Jiren, and Toppo. Knowing he will be out of energy soon, he starts to push Broly to go berserk, as that is their chance of winning. Broly isn't sure as he could not control it, but seeing as they are back in a corner, he decides to let go and begin to go berserk, as he gets enraged and his body bulks up, as now a more powerful Broly goes on to fight Jiren, and their clash is legendary. The impact sends Vegeta flying out of the arena. The only fighters who struggle to remain in the arena as they are trying not to get sent flying. At first things seem fine, with Broly holding his own against Jiren, but then when Jiren goes into his full power form, things change, as he begins to beat down on Broly like he is nothing. Gohan and Future Trunks try to get to help him, but they are still busy fighting their own opponents. We go away as we are in the mind of Oob. Currently, he still cannot move his body, and is frustrated with himself, as Goku believed in him to help their universe win the tournament, but he failed. Then Oob sees both Boo and the Grand Supreme Kai, as they tell him that he is still in the fight, and no doubt one, if not the strongest person in this tournament, as based on who he was incarnated from, and now the entire full potential of Boo's power and knowledge of the Kais are in him. A bright light appears out of nowhere, and everyone is confused on what the light is. They all look astonished, as even the gods and angels bow down. Zeno and the Grand Priest are surprised, and Goku couldn't be any happier. Oob has achieved Ultra Instinct. With the Pride Troopers caught off guard, Oob would instantly strike them in a mere fraction of a second. He teleported to the other side, and all three Pride Troopers were attacked. The Z Fighters were stunned. They did not know what to say. They are shocked to see how much power Oob truly wields. Dispo was out after the attack as it was too much damage. Toppo fell out of his god form, and Gohan took this moment to knock him out of the arena. Jiren then focuses and goes on the attack on Oob, but no matter what he was throwing at him, Oob just dodged all of it with ease. In each strike Oob did to Jiren, he fell over in pain. Jiren doesn't get it as he saw Oob knocked out for such a long time. How did he recover? And Oob thanks Boo for giving him the ability to heal to full strength. Oob looks at himself pretty shocked by his own power. And during this, Jiren would try to strike Oob, but he would fail. He wouldn't even flinch. Oob apologizes to Jiren and eliminates him, letting Universe 7 win the tournament, and the MVP would go to Oob after the crazy comeback. He would be given the chance to make a wish, and no doubt would resurrect everyone who was erased, which pleased the Grand Peace. Everyone would celebrate and head back to their own universe. Goku is proud of Oob for winning the tournament, but more for making that wish. Once they all returned to Earth, Beerus would ask Goku for another match, which he would accept as they would head away. Everyone thinks things will go back to normal, but then suddenly all the Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans are knocked out as they collapse to the floor, leaving only Marin and Oob. They both are shocked as they see Granolah telling them that they could leave since they aren't Saiyans, but he will take his chance to get his revenge for his people. Oob and Marin stand there in shock after just witnessing what Granolah has done. He gives them the opportunity to leave as he only wants to deal with the Saiyans, since his business is with them. Oob stands there taken aback, unsure if he is able to deal with Granolah. Marin instantly shoots right for him, ready to attack, but instantly she falls, knocked out. Granolah smiles. He thanks Goku for being dumb enough to invite him to the tournament, because when he met Hit, their fight taught him a lot, and he grew as a fighter, with the experience of facing Hit. Granolah developed his own version of Hit's time skip, but instead of stopping time, he is just able to move fast enough where it seems like he stops time, when in reality, his speed has gone so much better, where it seems like he doesn't move. Granolah looks right at Oob, asking if he will try to attack him, or take his chance to leave. Oob stares at him, remembering when they first met, and how Goku told him that if the case were to appear, he would have to be the one to take out Granolah. Oob remembers the explanation that Goku gave about how Ultra Instinct works, and begins to try to calm down, trying to tap back into the form. Granolah sees what he is trying to do and quickly tries to approach him to knock him out, but right before Granolah can strike Oob, Oob dodges the attack, entering into Ultra Instinct Sign state. He isn't able to tap back into the mastered version, but manages to pull off next best option. Oob instantly strikes at Granolah, sending him flying. Their fight continues into the sky, as Oob is trying to keep everyone on Earth safe. He asks Granolah to stand down as he does not want to have to kill him, but Granolah doesn't back down. Oob is holding back as he doesn't want to take a life, but Granolah sees this weakness and exploits it, as their fight continues, with Granolah managing to get some hits on Oob, and does significant damage to him. They fly all throughout the planet, causing major pressure impacts as they stand in a deserted wasteland, as Oob asks why does Granolah want revenge on the Saiyans, as he would then explain on how his mother was slain by the Saiyans and they worked for Frieza's army. He then explained how the people he used to work for betrayed him and tried to have him killed, and also how Frieza, when he was resurrected, he destroyed his home planet, and that's when he lost his only parent figure he had left, Naito, and his home planet. Granolah was dedicated, wanting revenge on Frieza for what he did, but he lost that chance after the fact when he was told by Goku that Frieza was taken out by him. That's also when he notices Goku's tail, and instantly he knew he was a Saiyan, but he knew that he was no match for Goku, so he couldn't take him out. But when he met everyone else, he had confidence he could take them all out, but just needed to wait for the right moment for Goku to leave, and then that's when he would start his plan to get his revenge, and this time there is no way he is backing down. No, now without Naito, he would never know the truth about his mother's death. Oob taking in Goku's teaching, he asks Granolah to please stop what he is trying to do and just leave the planet peacefully, but Granolah looks at him determined, saying that the only way this would end is if one of them ends up perishing from the other, as their clash would continue. Away, Goku and Beerus arrive at the same location when Goku faced off against Black. He told Beerus that he is able to go all out here just like he wanted, and this gets Beerus excited, as he has been dreaming for fighting Goku at his full power. Beerus is barely able to contain himself as he demands Goku to instantly go into his strongest form. Goku chuckles, asking Beerus if he is sure about this, if he really wants this, as he might not be able to win, and hearing this just gets Beerus more excited as he powers up. Goku smiles and powers into his Super Saiyan 5 transformation, and their clash begins. They teleport all around the area, clashing and creating massive pressure waves. Whis watches and is very impressed with Goku's strength, as he believes that Beerus might actually lose here. Goku tells Beerus to use more power as he is still holding back, and Beerus gets angry, telling Goku to go all out or he will have him erased, as they both would go all out. Beerus sends out a few Hakais, which Goku manages to deflect with ease and will return with some of his own key attacks. Beerus decides to use more and more of his destructive energy, as he tells Goku that he is impressed on how strong he has gotten with only the few years of life that he has, compared to Beerus, who had lived for millions of years. Goku would then tell Beerus that he would need to push past his limits, as he would fall in love with stacking Ultra Instinct with his Super Saiyan 5. This power amazes Beerus, giving him the adrenaline to power up further, as it seems like they were evenly matched, and Whis is very entertained with this battle. Beerus, not being able to hit Goku, grew frustrated and went into his own version of Ultra Instinct, powering up, and a purple aura formed around him as Beerus went into his Ultra Eagle form. Beerus would still have trouble trying to hit Goku, but the more damage he takes from Goku, the stronger he gets. Their fight is insane, and Whis sees why Goku could not use his full power on the normal universe, as he thinks it wouldn't be able to contain such power. Beerus is excited. Not once in his life has he found an opponent that pushed him this far. His joy can be barely contained, as he keeps getting attacked by Goku, but Beerus faces it with a smile as they continue on attacking each other. Beerus forms a huge death ball and throws it right at Goku at full force, as Goku shoots a Kamehameha wave trying to hold it off, as they are now in a beam struggle. The void that they are fighting in begins to shake, which should be impossible, but the pressure from these two powerful beings are making the impossible possible. Whis even needs to create a force field to keep him in place, as he continues to watch the battle, and he may even think that Goku could pass Beerus as the next god of destruction. With their beam struggle, it causes a massive explosion that sends both of the fighters flying away. But with Beerus, when he is trying to get back up, he sees Goku flying right towards him, and without any time to react, as Goku would grab a hold of him, making him crash into a nearby crystal. Both were tired and beaten, but enjoy the fight very much. They both power down as they are barely left standing, but laugh at each other. Beerus does admit that Goku is the strongest fighter that he has ever fought, and even admits that he may be stronger than himself. Beerus would offer the job of God of Destruction to Goku, as he would be a good candidate to take over for Beerus, but Goku did deny the offer, saying that destroying isn't really his thing. After they fought, they began to head back to Earth, and during their travels, Whis is shocked to see what is currently happening on the planet. Goku asks to look at Whis' staff, and they see the fight that is going on between Oob and Granolah. Seeing what Granolah attempted to do after he attacked the Saiyans, after Goku left with Beerus and Whis. Whis would ask if they should intercept, but Goku said to not land on Earth just yet, as he would want to give Oob a chance to deal with the situation on his own, and if he would need to jump in, he will. With the fight on Earth still going on as strong as it is, it seems like they are on equal standing. Oob begins to lose control, as he is starting to get frustrated, as even with this technique, he is struggling to take him down. With this thought, he was losing focus on the technique, and with losing the form, he began to lose his battle. Granolah hits Oob at the pressure point, which sends him crashing to the ground, very hurt. Granolah thought the fight was over, and looked away from Oob, but he did not know about Oob's special abilities, and like he did in the Tournament of Power, he began to regenerate. And then Granolah would see this, and send an energy attack right at him. An explosion is created, but when the dust cleared, Granolah is shocked to see a force field around Oob, protecting him. Granolah tries to attack the force field, but when he does, he is sent flying away. No matter what he throws at Oob, he cannot break the barrier. Oob is fully healed once again. He calms down, focusing hard with the barrier still up. Granolah tries harder, panicking about what is about to come, but once Oob's hair glows white, the barrier breaks open, as suddenly Oob is behind Granolah, and with a sudden rush, Granolah is hit with a flurry of punches. Oob looks at Granolah and tells him once again, saying he can leave the planet peacefully, and this is your last chance. Granolah looks down, and agrees as he begins to fly away, and Oob is glad that he did not have to kill Granolah, and would power down. But once Granolah looks back to see him powered down, he uses his chance to try to shoot a killing blow to Oob. Oob powers up back into Ultra Instinct, and he deflects the attack. And with a somber look on his face, he charges a Kamehameha wave, teleporting right in front of Granolah, and shoots it at him, point blank range, erasing Granolah completely, ending him. Oob powers down, kinda upset that he had to take a life, and ending Granolah, similar to how Goku felt when he had to take out Frieza for the first time. Goku lands on Earth, asking what had happened, even though he did know what went down, and felt bad for Oob as he sees how he did not want to take down Granolah. Goku does go to Oob, and says that he is proud of him, that he tried to save Granolah, and that's what counts. Goku knew he could have stopped the battle before it came down to the situation, but he believed in Oob that he could handle it and wanted to give him the chance to stop a threat on his own without having to step in. As Goku looks over to see everyone, he smiles, finally and truly believing that he may step down as a protector of Earth, as now Earth has many other future fighters ready to defend the planet with their life without him. Goku tells everyone thank you for everything as he begins to fly off, telling everyone see you later as he goes away. The Z Fighters smile with heavy hearts, but know that it's their time to take over the mantle that Goku has left for them, to be the new heroes of Earth, to continue on his legacy. And that's where we're going to leave it off for now. How do you think I did with the final part and how I did with the Granolah arc? What do y'all think about the entire story as a whole? I enjoyed how the story could have been with the group having to be relying on more of themselves rather than just Goku, and how different the events of the arc played out in the story. To be fair, I did not see a way for the events of superhero movie coming into play here, so I did have to skip that arc this time. What if could have happened differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Next what if would be, what if Goku was born as a Super Saiyan? If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Hope to see y'all there, and thank y'all so much for watching and all the support in this series. And I will see y'all in the next one. See ya.